An effective method for developing leaders through observation and feedback is termed guided discovery learning. Guided discovery learning involves the use of indirect feedback and places more responsibility on the leader to identify his or her own strengths and development needs. The techniques are designed to engage leaders to discover their own learning needs, supported by the observer, who provides feedback in the form of hints, direction, coaching, and modeling. The first observations of a leader's performance ought to be on what he or she is doing right. Commenting on positive actions up front shows a commitment to balanced and fair observation. It also builds confidence and confirms performance that is productive and accomplishing an objective.
A good technique for discovery learning is positive reinforcement. When a subordinate leader comes to me with a task, I feel it's critical to focus on the things that they've done correctly. That's going to reinforce a positive outlook and demeanor throughout completion of the task.
Open-ended questions are a useful way to give leaders hints about what they may need to do differently, yet allows them to discover on their own what the actual issues are. In this way, responsibility for assessment is with the leader, as is ownership for fixing the situation. To employ this technique, identify the outcome you want the leader to realize. Then ask general questions about factors related to that outcome. Continue to ask more specific questions and provide hints until the leader connects the outcome with his or her actions.
Open-ended questions are an effective technique to use simply because it forces the person that you're asking the questions to, the individual, to think for themselves. That's the biggest thing. It forces them to come up with their own ideas and concepts as to how they can fix a problem, how they can attack a problem in a military manner.
Scaling questions are a technique for facilitating a leader's self-understanding of how difficult or challenging a problem is in relative terms. It also facilitates incremental improvement and helps an individual recognize that progress has been made.
For example, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel you lie right now? And if they tell you, I feel like I'm a 6 or a 7, don't just leave it there. Ask them, what do you think that you need to do to bring yourself to an 8, a 9, or a 10? Which leads back into open-ended questions. By asking them, what do you think that you need to do? It's forcing them to really think for themselves and to find a solution to that problem.
Leader actions are often several layers or processes removed from their consequences. Many times, a leader will try to address symptoms of a problem, leaving the root cause intact. A cause and effect analysis is a technique to identify the root or original cause of an outcome. This technique is useful in helping a leader focus on remedial actions that will fix a problem and change a consequence.
You're taking a cause and effect relationship. So let's just say someone got lost on a land nav course, like for an example. Well, okay, so we know someone got lost, so we can break it down. Hey, well, what happened? So they might say, hey, well, I missed this point, and I got flustered and lost time. Okay, well, why did you miss this point? And you're continually asking why. You keep asking questions. So you keep breaking it down to smaller and smaller. So I got lost on land, of course. Well, why? Well, I had the point plotted wrong, so I went to the wrong place. How did you plot your point wrong? Well, I did this wrong. So hey, it was a training error or something. So it wasn't, they don't know what they're doing. It was, they just missed this one little step in this big system. So when you continually ask why and break it down to the root cause, it could have been a simple, hey, a 2-minute block of instruction, and this guy's gonna be right, instead of the whole unit needs to be retrained, or they don't know what they're doing. It's this, no, it was simple, like 2-minute, hey, show them how to do it, and the situation solved.
Using a multiple perspectives technique guides a leader to see their situation from a different perspective. This technique is useful when a leader appears to be stuck in a limited way of thinking or unable to break away from a mental block.
When a leader is kind of jammed up and they don't really have a clear-cut decision or path ahead of them, I find it's very helpful to kind of allow that leader to remove themselves from the situation, observe the problem that they're in, and propose a better path for them to follow. A personal example of multiple perspective or alternate perspective would be when people or a leader would be in a situation where they can't see a clear path or a clear decision. I bring them in, I kind of help to remove them from the situation. I put them in somebody else's shoes, somebody that's outside the organization, and kind of get them to look at it through somebody else's eyes. And hopefully it shows them a better way to accomplish the mission.
After delivering your observations, allow the leader time and space to adjust his or her actions. Observe for a change in the leader's behavior and give brief verbal and nonverbal reinforcement when you observe change. Throughout all of your interactions, remember to be the example and role model the leadership behavior you want to see in others.